You know, a lot of what I do on YouTube is honestly react to people and like their opinions on games now, and I try and give my most down to earth opinion on it. And I seen this video and I skipped around in it, but we're gonna try and watch it in totality today. It's a video from what's this person's name? My Gaming Chops, and it's a video about my gaming chops being worried about Ninja Gaiden 4. I don't have a worry at all, really. But I mean, I have a little bit of a worry if like something he says happens in Ninja Gaiden 4, but not too much. Anyway, let's go.
Sayori.
Ryu, there's something I need your help with.
The Dark Dragon is mine.
Oh shit. Here we go again.
2025 is the first year in a while where I'm actually excited for the upcoming games, and so far those games have been a mixed bag. Bleach Rebirth of Souls is fun but disappointing. Doom the Dark Ages seems cool.
I'm gonna stop you right there. Look, Bleach Rebirth of Souls it's an arena fighter. Like, can we stop having hope for these games? You're gonna be pressing square, 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 triangle, square, forward, square. Like, I'm sorry. That's all I had to say about that.
Birth of Souls is fun but disappointing. Doom the Dark Ages seems cool from a distance, since I'm pretty sure I can't play it on my weak ass computer, although I don't like some of the changes they made. The Yuka replay demo looks great, but the camera still annoys me. Oh, and did you know we're getting another Cyber Sleuth like Digimon game? And it might be the best Digimon game ever? Like, seriously, holy crap. And then there's Ninja Gaiden 4, my most unexpected anticipated game for 2025. I say unexpected because I thought this franchise was dead after the failure that was Ninja Gaiden 3. Even though Razor's Edge fixed many problems, the core of the game was still Ninja Gaiden 3. Again, an awful game on almost every level. At least the core combat was excellent. So not
I wish people would stop over embellishing like how bad Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge is. Like, Razor's Edge is pretty good and it has like 4 playable characters. And I don't know. I didn't it have co-op on PS3?
Not only did this IP come back, but it did so with style, with announcing / releasing not one, not two, but 3 games. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, which despite what the developers say, is just Ninja Gaiden 2 Sigma with better graphics and blood. In other words, it's still not the definitive version of the game, and it still can't be compared to...
I don't even know if I would even say that, because Sigma had like 3 playable characters, didn't it? 3 or 4? And Black just has Ayane. It's like Ryu and Ayane, and I think Sigma had Ryu, Ayane, Alma, and Momiji. Oops.
to the GOAT, Ninja Gaiden 2. Then comes Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, another 2D...
I wish people would stop like saying like those games suck, even though they have like more content. Technically, like, you have another playable character. That means nothing to you.
game reminiscent of the original Ninja Gaiden action games. And today's topic, Ninja Gaiden 4, a sequel to Ninja Gaiden 3, which again is crazy that we're even getting this. At first, we didn't know much about Ninja Gaiden 4 other than it featured a new playable protagonist, Yakuma, and Platinum Games and Team Ninja were working together on it. Considering Platinum Games has made so many impressive third-person action games comparable to Ninja Gaiden, like Vanquish, Metal Gear Rising, Nier Automata, and of course the sexy Bayonetta, this seems like a match made in heaven. In the months following the announcement trailer, we got short videos here and there showcasing the insane combat. It was only recently that we got an official release trailer, and IGN released a first look at Ninja Gaiden 4. And both of these things left fans, let's just say, with mixed emotions of excitement and anxiety. The Ninja Gaiden fanbase might be loyal, but it's no stranger to betrayals. So let's go over why I and so many others are excited but also really worried worried about Ninja Gaiden 4.
Look how cool all that stuff looks, man.
At the end of the trailer for Ninja Gaiden 4, it showed different versions you can purchase. Some versions have extra content, but the controversial part relates to extra stuff for Ryu. You can see that if you purchase the Deluxe Edition, which is $90 by the way, the game gives you a skin for Ryu's main weapon, the Dragon Sword, actually it's the true Dragon Sword, called the Blade of the Archfiend. Let me say that again. They give you a skin of Ryu's weapon called the Blade of the Archfiend. This is so annoying for two main reasons. One, the Blade of the Archfiend is significantly different from the true Dragon Sword, which, by the way, we can see Ryu using this weapon in the trailer. Now, you get to wield both of these weapons in Ninja Gaiden 2, and you pick it up in Ninja Gaiden 3. The idea that you can just treat this as another skin for the Dragon Sword is insulting. This shouldn't be DLC, and
it shouldn't be insulting at all. In Ninja Gaiden 1, or at least Ninja Gaiden Sigma, you have the Dragon Sword, and then you have the Blade of the Archfiend. They're both katanas, and they have, if I remember correctly, they have a similar moveset. So, like, you know, it's really not that far off base. It's just a different katana.
not be another skin for the Dragon Sword. Doing this shows that the people behind this either don't care.
You know, because when you really think about it, the Dragon Sword, like, what does it being the true Dragon Sword do for it? Like, it doesn't do anything. He still swings the sword around with his two arms.
Or don't know, and I don't know which is worse. But wait, there's more. The other reason why this is annoying is the fact that Ryu might only have one weapon based on this DLC. And we'll get to later on why
I'm not a fan of that.
That might be the case. I know that Ninja Gaiden 2 came out in 2012, and most people probably just played Razor's Edge and don't remember, but the original game only had one weapon for Ryu. As you can probably imagine, making another Ninja Gaiden game with Ryu as the lead and only giving him one weapon when he is known to use many in the previous didn't go so well. In fact, the fans were so pissed, that's why they had to make Razor's Edge to begin with. So the idea that it's possible that these idiots didn't learn anything from the past mistakes blows my mind. I said this about Bleach Rebirth of Souls, and here we go again. Why do these developers purposely make obvious mistakes with these video games so they have to later on come back and add patches and so forth instead of just getting it right?
Really disrespectful to the devs, but honestly, you know, he might be onto something. It might be that Ryu only has one weapon, but it could also be that Ryu isn't playable for that much of the game. And, you know, it could also be that he just has one, like a different skin for another weapon. Maybe the skin for Yakumo or whatever his name is, weapons, come from some affiliation or like organization that he's fighting against. I think that's what the case is. He's fighting against some organization, and like, it looks like, the weapons look kind of similar to the outfits that they have. So, you know, maybe that's it. And Ryu doesn't need like weapons that are going up against this organization because it has nothing to do with his quest.
Right, the first time. This was unacceptable.
By the way, this wouldn't be the first time in history like one weapon or like a small amount of weapons got like a different skin from a deluxe edition package.
2012, and if it happens again, it is certainly unacceptable in 2025. Now we can talk about the other problem that relates to this one, which is Ryu's role in Ninja Gaiden 4.
Like, I'm sure Monster Hunter has a couple of different skins that, you know, don't, like, they're not like a bunch of skins for every single weapon, but skins for certain weapons.
So why does it seem like Ryu will only have one weapon? Well, there's a growing concern that Ryu is going to be a side character in this game. The trailers up to this point mostly show Yakuma, and in the two things I mentioned earlier that they just released showcasing the game, again, it's mostly of Yakuma. When they first...
Can I be all the way 100 with you? Yakuma, or Yakumo, looks cooler than Ryu ever has. I'm sorry.
first announced there was going to be 2 protagonists, I figured it was going
It's
to
not
be
because of the edge, it's just because of the animation. Like,
60% of the time
they knew what they were doing.
would be Yakuma. But based on the trailers for this game and the weapon situation, it feels more like an 80-20 split, with Ryu being the 20. It's almost like they're treating Ryu here as the past missions in previous Sigma games where you play as the female ninjas. One thing I forgot to mention is that in all the gameplay footage with Yakuma, we see him using a variety of weapons, and even in the different versions of the game that you can purchase, he can get more weapons.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this. So this outfit is, what is this? Divine Blaze, Divine Rod, Divine Rapier. That's weird that he has a rapier, by the way. I don't like that necessarily. Divine Chest. Like, I like this weapon. I like the Divine, like the double swords. This is like a Nagamaki, right? That's what it looks like. Looks like a Nagamaki. And Ryu doesn't really have anything. Like, this isn't like really like thematic of anything. This is like throwing a dog a bone, you know. If he does have more weapons, I kind of get it. There's no, like, you know, Kusarigama the Archfiend. You know what I mean? But, you know, we'll see.
But with Ryu, we only see him using one weapon, which further supports both of these theories. Now,
one weapon, but his animations are a lot better.
Play the mainline Ninja Gaiden games to play as Ryu. And if I cannot play most of this game as Ryu, it won't feel like an authentic Ninja Gaiden experience. The Sigma version
That's so petty and whiny.
and Razor's Edge push the boundaries of this by allowing you to play as the female ninjas and demon hunters, but there weren't that many missions involving those characters. After completing
But the coolest thing about Ninja Gaiden 3 is you could play every mission with every character.
Gaiden 3, you could play the campaign again, if you really want to, with the other female characters aside from Rachel for whatever reason. By the way, I know people don't want these characters to return because their missions in past games weren't the best, and the characters themselves were inferior.
Alright, so one, I don't agree with any of that. Like, the characters are all pretty decent. Like, they're only inferior because of certain things that Ryu has. Like, he has a bow and arrow that he can shoot when he jumps that explodes in your face and does a massive amount of damage. Otherwise, him and other characters are very similar, you know, besides the fact they don't have the ability to change to different weapons. You know what I mean? And that's fine. Like, if you can go through a whole mission with one weapon and that's your thing, that's fine. I actually like Kasumi and her reverse grip style. You know what I mean? I like Ayane, Momiji. I just don't like Alma.
To Ryu. But if the developers learned from their past mistakes, they could definitely make improvements for future missions with these female characters. In fact, I had this crazy idea that future games would have a character swap functionality where you could switch to someone else, kind of like switching weapons, which adds replayability to the game and more depth to level design and so forth. Also, considering the current landscape of so many exotic gacha games, this would be the best time to take advantage of the sexy ladies of Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive. But no, instead this game looks like it's going to be mostly Yakuma with Ryu showing up here and there. Now, there have been successful franchises that have had dual protagonists, such as Halo 2 and Metal Gear Solid 2. Metal Gear Solid 2 is an interesting case because even though people weren't initially receptive of Raiden's character, he eventually became a fan favorite. So much so that Platinum Games made Metal Gear Rising where he was the star. In fact, now that I think about it, Yakuma's design kind of reminds me of him too. Those were the second entries of those games, like in general, including spin-offs and anything of that sort. So you can justify the game, you're most likely going to play as Ryu. I am fine with him not being a main character in the side games if they are spin-offs, but for the mainline games, this is unacceptable.
This is such a weird complaint to me because Ryu doesn't really even talk that much in any of the Ninja Gaiden games. He's like almost a silent protagonist. Like, Ryu exists to kill everything and to say one-liners. You know what I mean? Like, you can make any character do that. At least Yakumo seems like he has some sort of vested interest.
I I don't want them to use Ryu as a means to push a new character into a franchise where so many future games won't focus on Ryu anymore. The only way I would be willing to accept this idea of making a new protagonist is if this game had more Ryu missions with Yakuma's intertwined. At some point, we'd have a passing of the torch moment where Yakuma will be in future games and Ryu wouldn't, or he'd have a smaller role. Now, I probably wouldn't play these future games unless other legacy characters are part of them, but that's how you'd handle something like this. But not doing that in-between step is going to piss off a lot of people. And just keep in mind that no matter how good this game is, or future ones with Yakuma, if you aren't playing as Ryu, then for many, it's not really a mainline Ninja Gaiden game and more of another action game wearing Ninja Gaiden skin. But at least if they did follow my advice, they wouldn't market the future games with Ryu since he wouldn't be part of them. I assume that might affect sales, which is why Ryu is even in this game to begin with. And I guarantee that if Ryu doesn't have many missions in this game,
I hate this boss on that game.
Being prominently present on the cover art, that we are going to have a backlash similar to the Joel controversy, although I argue worse because of the marketing. Okay, next thing that grinds my gears.
What marketing? Like, the marketing seems to be pretty good. Like, Yakumo's gonna be the star, and he has the same high-octane action that you would expect from a Ninja Gaiden game. I just don't see how any of this would be bad.
Let's talk about the setting for this game. So apparently it takes place many years into the future, as evident by the setting of Neo Tokyo. I mean, it's coded Neo Tokyo, so you already know. And it has this cyberpunk feel to Ninja Gaiden. I'll have to fully experience the game to determine if this setting fits or not. Right now I'm kind of mixed on it. Anyways, the trailer showcases the following characters: Ryu, Yakuma, Shiori, and then that person who you can talk to after learning new techniques for your even Motomasa. Something tells me that old man died. And yes, I included the cast from Ninja Gaiden 3, even though I really hate that game. Those people are still part of this lore, and you can't make a new game in the main timeline without including them. So far, it seems like this game is going to focus on things from Yakuma's perspective, meaning the focus will be on this new character and the Raven clan. If this is true, what a kick to the nuts to everyone who actually cares about the story and the lore of this franchise. I don't know why they would even consider...
Bro, the lore of Ninja Gaiden is so bare bones. Like, I don't understand what he's complaining about. Like, Ryu's a part of the Dragon Clan, and the Dragon Clan fights evil.
Going into this direction, except maybe
you know what I mean?
a terrible way to appeal to new people, which you really shouldn't do for a Ninja Gaiden game, but we'll talk about that.
I don't know why you shouldn't do that. The last Ninja Gaiden game came out in 2012 or 2011. The last Ninja Gaiden game came out a long time ago. Ninja Gaiden 3, and the HD collection, like the remaster collection, didn't do too well. And right now, Ninja Gaiden Black is like the newest thing, and it's on Game Pass. So like, maybe there's a bunch of new people that are like, you know, interested, but they just didn't like Ryu or Ayane, and like this gives people like another character they can like, you know, at least look at and say, oh, this is visually different. Oh, I kind of like what they did with the blood thing. You know, it's good to introduce new characters, man. Don't let games get stagnant. If we let games get stagnant, Dante would have been the only playable character in Devil May Cry from Devil May Cry 1 through 5. You know what I mean? They made Nero the main character, but made Dante still a character that you could play with, which was the best decision. And I think that's what they're doing here.
Later. Hopefully I'm wrong, and the story will include everyone else that we've seen so far. Now we got some gameplay stuff to go over.
Removal of core gameplay elements. See, I didn't know nothing about this. I want to see.
So during the first look, there were many red flags unintentionally stated by the person discussing the game. According to the video, the producer said two statements. We want to make sure it feels like a modernized high-speed game while staying true to what Ninja Gaiden is. And the second statement was, we are going against the trend. On the surface, this sounds fine until you realize the word modernized is in here. And many of the changes discussed...
People really gotta stop like using modernize as like a slur. for like, you know what I mean? They use it as like a slur against gamers, like modernize. How dare you?
Contradict the statements of going against the trends and staying true to what Ninja Gaiden is. I'm not really sure how you can.
You know what modernize means to me? It means that there's no like ridiculous stages that are like super hard to get through. Like Ninja Gaiden, I'll tell you the truth right now. I never beat Ninja Gaiden Sigma because it was hard. I played, I think, on a harder difficulty at first, like whatever is above normal, and that shit was just hard. I never beat it. I beat Ninja Gaiden 2 and Ninja Gaiden 3, but never won.
Go against trends while still following modern trends. Now let's talk about the main things that were discussed. Starting with the ability to change the difficulty setting on the fly. What a horrible way to disrespect what makes the 3D action Ninja Gaiden games Ninja Gaiden. The entire point of the difficulty setting in past games was to create replayability, as each difficulty felt like a new experience. This is due to the variety of enemies you faced and when you faced them and the difficulty of those enemies. The easier difficulties trained you for the harder ones. What a brilliant concept, now gone forever.
This is such a forced thing to me. Like everything else I could be like, okay, well, I guess, you know, your opinion, but this is like insane because all you have to do is just keep the difficulty high and then you'll be okay. Switch the difficulty to what you want and keep the difficulty throughout the entire stage. It just seems like the most simplest solution here. I don't understand why it's bad. This is like, that's kind of toxic. I think gamers like that are really toxic. Like, you know, if I want to switch the difficulty at any point because I'm not feeling it, then I'll switch the difficulty. Like, I'm a grown ass man, personally. Like, I like more difficulty, you know. And as a kid, I used to play things on the hardest difficulty, but as an adult, I'm like, you know, I don't need to try so hard and get stressed out while I'm playing the game. You know, like, you know, I don't want to have a heart attack trying to, like, you know, dodge something, block, jump, and then I gotta dodge and perfect block again, and, like, you know what I mean? It's just silly.
With just one single decision, you just ruined Ninja Gaiden 4 and probably ruined its replayability. Why does this even exist? I liked the idea of being locked into a single difficulty once you selected it.
Okay, then you still have that capability, man. What the fuck is this?
Liked how even if the game was set at a certain difficulty, some parts will still feel easier than others. More examples of how this game feels like another action game with Ninja Gaiden skin. Next comes the new checkpoint system. Are you serious right now? One of the joys of Ninja Gaiden is fighting for every save point and knowing that if you die, you gotta do it all over again. It added tension to the combat, making each encounter a literal fight for your life. And it was another way to add difficulty to an already difficult game. Why would you remove another essential element of these games? I'm really starting to doubt that these people are staying true to what Ninja Gaiden is. Next, there's a lock-on mechanic.
I don't understand what he's talking about because I know for certain Ninja Gaiden 3 had the same checkpoints.
Ruined its replayability. Why does this even about the game telling you when to?
That's so silly.
About this. The mechanic has always existed before, but it was never so obviously displayed like it is here. There's even this warning that appears before Yakuma is attacked to better help players time their dodges. I mean, why does that
probably
exist?
an unblockable
It's more
attack.
satisfying when you learn to time your dodges without the game telling you when to do it. And this relates to my final gripe, which is the amount of hand-holding this game does. Now, hopefully what we saw in the game...
All this complaining, like normally this stuff is stuff you can turn off. I don't understand.
...videos was just a tutorial or training mode.
And also, I don't think there's an exclamation every time you're about to get attacked.
...to interact with various things. Yes,
because they fire at you with guns.
Games did this as well, but not to the same degree. And with Razor's Edge, I wasn't a big fan of the new stuff, but it wasn't as pervasive as it is here. Hopefully you could turn this crap off for the hardcore players. Ultimately, these changes feel like poor attempts to get newer/casual fans to play this game when the Ninja Gaiden games are not for those people, and I doubt they would even play it anyways. If you really care about this franchise, make sure that your game appeals to the core audience of them. Masochist freaks like myself that want a definitive Ninja Gaiden experience, not a
I love how like
action
when he
game,
describes
wherein
himself, he
Ninja
describes
Gaiden
himself as a
skin,
masochist
with many
freak,
of the
but
key
that's
mechanics
the
removed
the
and more
main
modern
like
mechanics,
demographic. Like
which
if you're a
should
freak by
be
definition, you're not
stereotypes
normal.
here. When I was working on the video, I realized I forgot to mention something about past Ninja Gaiden games in reference to the checkpoint system. It is true that Ninja Gaiden games of the past did have them, but it was only for certain things like bosses, and I think that's fine considering how difficult those games are. But I think you're going too far when you add those checkpoints in the middle of the missions themselves.
Ninja
It
Gaiden
is
3
also
had them
important to point
in the
out
middle of the
that
mission.
Ninja
I'm
Gaiden
almost
games
certain
have
2
made
did.
improvements with each
Sigma
new
did at
installment.
least.
For example, in Ninja Gaiden 2,
Bro, look at
for
this gameplay
healthier
that he's like trying to
regeneration
defend.
point
He's
would
like,
be
yeah, dude, this
permanent
is
healing.
this
In the
is for the
original Gaiden
hardcore. I'm a
game,
masochist.
this
Like, bro, this
happened.
looks like
This
not
was
fun at
done
all.
to make each fight not a death sentence after you
Isn't it?
complete
It's not
it.
even fun to
And
watch.
some might argue that this change ruined certain key elements of Ninja Gaiden, but there's a big difference between regenerative health and removing a core element that made Ninja Gaiden games, well, Ninja Gaiden. And that's the important takeaway here. There's nothing wrong with making changes to future Ninja Gaiden games. In fact, I'll mention some later on in the video that I actually like. But the key is how often and how significant these changes are. Because eventually with enough changes, the game will no longer resemble what it once was. And that directly contradicts the idea that they're trying to make this game true to what Ninja Gaiden is.
Gamers, we have to stop trying to hold every game to like our favorite version of a game. Like, as an adult, I gotta tell you guys that. Like, you guys gotta be an adult, stop being childish. You know, it's like when people talk to me about Jin Kazama having different skills than he did like in the previous Tekken games. Like, he's not Jin Kazama from Tekken 3, he's Jin Kazama from Tekken 8. Like, you know what I mean?
News for you. Keep changing.
He's not Jin Kazama from Tekken 5 or 6.
And that's all I
And
was trying to say.
Jin from Tekken 6 isn't Jin from Tekken 5 or 4.
Now
You know what I
here's a
mean?
quick list of even more things that pissed me off.
Man,
I
this
saw
guy's
footage
pissed.
Of a turtle boss that oddly reminded me of the one from
Doesn't look
Ninja
like a turtle.
Gaiden 2. Thanks so much for remembering that element of the Ninja Gaiden games to bring back. Then we have a statue which gave me PTSD from those actual statue bosses from Sigma, which were awful. Don't include this shit, no one liked them. That's why they were removed from Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. Then there were quick time events mentioned for collecting these collectible items, and I hope that's the extent of quick time events in this game.
Man,
Ninja
no
Gaiden
fun
3
allowed.
had them, and no one liked them. For the love of God, do not add any more of these into this game. The next complaint is that this story gives me Ninja Gaiden 3 flashbacks. Hey guys, no one plays these games for a deep story that delves into Ryu or further complicates the world he exists in. These are simple action games where there's some evil people out there.
So why do you want Ryu to be the main character so bad? It seems like it's pretty interchangeable if that's the case.
And you need to kill them to thwart their evil plans. Please don't expand on the story concept. Instead, keep it
Look at this
simple.
dumbass
People
boss. I
have
think that's the
mixed
boss that I couldn't
reactions
beat.
to the story
Alma, was that Alma
of the
from
Dark
the
Ages
first
for
game?
the same reason. There are already action games that have really deep stories and deep characterization. And if people want that kind of stuff, they can play them.
Why is he putting
But
Nier
please
up
don't
here
shove
like
that
this fucking
crap
character
somewhere
is
where
like
it
not
doesn't
like a
belong. Now,
a
even though
trope
it
of a
sounds like
fucking
I
evil
hate this
villain.
game without ever playing it, that's not entirely true because I am excited about many elements that we've seen so far, and I want to talk about those right now.
Okay, let's get into it. This is what I really want to watch.
First of all, the game has blood, which is a positive thing since Sigma 2 didn't. Now, the amount of blood shown is up.
People like need to really get over Sigma. I am so sorry, but they do. Like, I'm sick of hearing about it. Like, Sigma 2 didn't have blood, bro. That was like in 2008. Come on, man.
debate, but how the blood is incorporated into the game is masterfully done. It is going to be so satisfying to cut up and eviscerate enemies. Also, apparently the movement speed is even faster.
Yeah, so like, see the gun that's being fired at him? The gun that's being fired at him is
even faster now. So
he's not like having like the light up exclamation mark on him.
But here it looks like it's more fleshed out, and it's something you're going to
Also, yeah, when you get attacked, I think it's just attacks that grab you. Because look, he just got attacked right there, but he didn't have any like exclamation on him. He didn't. I don't think this guy like paid attention.
There's just more ways to do it now. This includes the vast amount of weapons that Yakuma has and their insane moveset, including the new Blood Raven attacks, which remind me of the UTs from past Ninja Gaiden games. Yakuma also has new means to get around the battlefield, which should make exploration fun, and they fixed the camera issues from past games. All of these are positive changes. While I don't like the fact he looks too similar to Raiden, I still like Yakuma's.
He doesn't look that much like Raiden. Like, just because he has like some white hair, I don't understand.
Shiori, despite the little we see of her, even that character that you interact with when learning new skills is interesting. And that brings up the training mode. I like how they add this mechanic for different weapons and upgrades. This way you can get familiar with the weapons before going out into the battlefield.
I know.
It does remove
Should did that shit in the PS3 era. Devil May Cry had that.
But in this case, I don't mind this change. They also have this new functionality to give you an item if you die several times, which reminded me of Doom Eternal, but I'm sure other games have done this as well. I think it's fine, but it does feel like more examples of babying the players. It's only for lower difficulty, so I can learn to live with it. Everything about this game, from the art style and the over-the-top aesthetic, feels like Ninja Gaiden. This extends to the sounds, the visuals, especially sick animations.
Oh my goodness. Look at all the cool stuff that Yakuma can do.
Some people say the UI is clunky. It looks okay to me, but I'll have to play the game firsthand.
That looks like some stuff you could turn off.
They brought back Essence, which is great, but I think the Nimpo still functions similar to Ninja Gaiden 3. I'm not sure how you heal outside of Ravens. Maybe there's a new item in game. I'm not sure. If you have enough Essence, you can purchase stuff in the store. All good things. Even though Ryu might not be a main character in this game, at least his combat.
Bro, this dude does not talk enough to like warrant this much like glazing. I'm sorry.
The Nimpo animations. At least they got this part right. Don't get the wrong idea. This game looks like it's going to be a lot of fun to play. And now to final thoughts. Ninja Gaiden 4.
That's all that matters, right?
Look, gameplay, and so forth of past games in the series, but the removal of many core elements like the difficulty setting, Ryu's involvement, his weapons, and various other gameplay elements make this game feel like Ninja Gaiden only at a surface level. Still, if my hardware can handle it, I will definitely give this game a fair shot. So far, I am more worried than excited. After all, I've been through this shit before. And hopefully those concerns will be put to rest once the game comes out. Let me know your thoughts of Ninja Gaiden 4 in the comment section below.
That's another thing. I just noticed that. So Razor's Edge had a mechanic where the enemy was about to attack you, like do like a very damaging attack. I forget what it was called, like a fatal attack or something. They would like have this red mist all over them, and it signified when you could do like an instant kill to them. No matter if they had missing limbs or not. And that was cool. Like, honestly, I appreciated it because I remember in Ninja Gaiden Sigma, like you could get grabbed and get blown up for no reason. But yeah, so the Ninja Gaiden 4 concern is getting real. What is this dude saying?
Ninja Gaiden 4 recently had its release date revealed. Development for Ninja Gaiden 4 has been outsourced to Platinum Games. I think it's fair to say emphasis on parry mechanics or even perfect dodge and dodge offset mechanics. And so one of the most contested sort of pressure points that I've been seeing in the community is this entire idea that because they've onboarded Platinum to a Platinum game and not something you'd see in a Ninja Gaiden, for example, where mechanics like parrying or countering are a thing, for example, but they are not the...
I really wish that the Ninja Gaiden community would shut up about this type of shit. And the reason why is because Ninja Gaiden was always like a hard game, and the reason why it was about to die out wasn't because Ninja Gaiden 3 just fucking sucked. It was about to die out because nobody played Ninja Gaiden because they know how famously hard it was. Like, it's not Dark Souls. I don't understand why people think that like it has the same effect as Dark Souls. Like, people lose in Ninja Gaiden and they don't want to play that game again because it's scary to them. Like, Ninja Gaiden is a real hard game, but I don't really have any sort of like concern about it. As a matter of fact, I like to watch this release date trailer and tell you about the things I'm really excited for. Really hyped that Xbox actually did help with the development of this by throwing down some money.
Watch your back.
Like, really cool. And I don't give Xbox props very often, but this is like one of those rare
Kill the
occasions.
dark dragon myself.
Bro, look at this. Look at these animations. Look at the movements. Look at the things that you normally wouldn't even be able to do in a Ninja Gaiden game. Like, what is this? Your weapon transform? That doesn't happen in Ninja Gaiden. There's corny, like, dialogue, I'm sure. Look at these weapons. Bam! Okay, that's normal. That looks like Ninja Gaiden. But you just changed that to a hammer? Okay, that's cool. You basically got two weapons in one. And what else is going on here? Let's look.
This is it.
Different animations for destroying, obliterating an enemy.
Ryu, there's something I need your help.
Look at Ryu Hayabusa. Look at this. His moveset never looked so clean. I've never seen him do that. I've never seen him do that, I don't think. I've seen him do like a double lift uppercut, but maybe, I don't think that exists in other games. Maybe it does, but look how pronounced it is. Yeah, look at it. That looks like Ninja Gaiden. What was that, bro? Did he do like one of those reversal techniques that he has in the other games? Let's see what happens. Woo! Look at that. Slice, slice, slice. That was a cool move. One of the worst parts about Ninja Gaiden to me is like there's not really like any like real like moves associated with definitive moves that are like associated with the weapons. Like, you know how Dante on Devil May Cry has Stinger with Rebellion, Sparta, like basically all the like the main swords, etc., etc. Like Stinger, there's no Stinger in this game. There's the Izuna drop, but you can do Izuna drop with like almost all the weapons, if I remember correctly. There's nothing really that sets the weapons apart, but look at this, man. The weapons look like they have like legitimate differences now, and I love it. Cool choreography, cool enemies, cool bosses.
The dark dragon is mine.
And we can even look at the IGN gameplay. I know, the IGN gameplay. Isn't that crazy that I'm mentioning that? We're not going to listen to it, though. We're just going to look at the gameplay. Look at this mad lad. Look at the graphics, man. Look at this presentation. Ninja Gaiden never really had like that great a presentation, but you know, I think that must be because of the limited hardware. Look at this place, man. It looks so cool to look at. Stealth kill. They tried doing that. Oh, wait, did you guys see that? There was no exclamation mark on him. Bam! No exclamation mark. And he parried that with, you know, skill. That was good. That was a good reaction. And like it's killing me because dude said like, oh man, they're like really spoon feeding like the easy stuff to us. Like, come on, man. Look at this. Look how cool this looks. This looks fun. Sometimes you need some spongy enemies. Look at that. So he's been attacked like several times and exclamations only came up on him once. So I can only assume that that means that's a move that is going to grab you. So you gotta get out the way, which is fine. You know, I'm sure that's taken off on like a harder difficulty, but who cares? Like, if it stays on or if it doesn't, like, you know what I mean? Just play the harder difficulty. Mod the game to turn it off. Fresh. Look at that. parry attack, launch into the air. Hell yeah, man. Look at the combos. Look at the speed. Look at the high octane action. If people are actually looking at this like, man, I don't know. I don't know if it's actually like Ninja Gaiden. Like, bro, did you not play the last 3 games? Like, just say that. I don't know, man. Like, I'm excited for this game, and it's definitely going to be a day one for me. Look at this. Look at this. Pow, pow, pow. Pow, pow, pow. Pow, 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 pow. Ooh, I ain't done yet. It's so cool. All right, I'm out.